don't think I'm already go live. Let me see. Before it said that I had to do here. Yeah, this goes live. We are alive. Let me start my introduction. Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora from the channel The Awakening Path. And today I have a special guest with us. And I'm just connecting here to my, oops, I don't know where it goes. It's just hang out from my phone. I wanted to see the questions there. Anyway, so I have a special guest here with us tonight. Her name is Carol Morgan, and she is an alien contactee. If any of you would be kind enough to say yes if you can hear us. I already did a test, so I'm just assuming that you guys can hear us. So today, before we started talking to Xina, I'll give you a chance to get to know Carol a little more. Carol, tell us first, welcome to the channel. Thank you for accepting, have this interview with me. I think everybody can see that I'm a little bit nervous, but everything will go well. And thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Eleonora. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, I understand the nerves, but you know, this is just going to be like a conversation between you and me. So yes, it's going to go well, but I really appreciate the invitation. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. So if you guys are wondering, if you're new to my channel, if you're wondering where this accent comes from, is from Brazil. So everything I do in my channel, I do in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. So today, of course, this one will be an interview in English. Carol, how was your spiritual evolution from Catholicism to spirituality, and in a short time you became a ET contactee?
Well, that is a long story that spans about 4 decades, but to make it pretty short, I was born and raised in Costa Rica, so my native language is actually Spanish. I grew up in a very conservative environment, a beautiful childhood. I don't have any traumas per se to account for, very beautiful life. But I always had something inside of me that told me that I needed to move. I loved anything and everything that had to do with the United States. I loved the American culture. I loved what it stood for, etc. So anyway, to make the long story short, I ended up in the US for college. I came here to study. I moved to Minnesota. But when I moved with everything that I had learned in my country. So although I was looking for something different, I was recreating it here. In my 30s, after a long time of corporate career, that was, I studied business. After a marriage and kids, I came to realize that I was not happy. And I was actually quite miserable. And there was really no reason why I was miserable because I really had it all. If you were looking from the outside in, you would have said, this lady has it all. What is going on? But it wasn't anything I could really pinpoint until I started understanding that I was not in the present moment. I was always looking forward to what else I could have. And I wasn't really understanding what I had created or appreciating it. What happens when you do that is that you come to a moment where everything falls apart. And that's where spirituality came in. because Catholicism wasn't explaining to me why, if I was a good person, because I knew I had it clear I was a good person, why I was living what I was living, why was I going through what I was going through. So it left me with a void, and that void was filled up with spirituality. Spirituality goes beyond religion, and as I see it, religion really separates us. Although the basis of religions are the same, love one another, respect one another, this and that. It really separates us, but spirituality brings us together. And that's what happened. I hit rock bottom. Spirituality started giving me hope, and I started understanding that I was not a victim of my reality. And in that change of mind, in that mind training with the Course in Miracles, I met Tina Spalding and started working with her. And working with her is when I became a contactee, as you say, in September 23rd of 2018. I was in Taiwan.
Wow, that's beautiful. Your story is a lot to look like mine, but let's not talk about mine right now. That we'll save for another time. So, how the communication really takes place,
Okay.
techn technically?
So when I was in Taiwan, I was in a meditation that was channeled. Tina was channeling it. And in that meditation, I met a being that said that they had a message for me. And the message was that I was on my way to changing the world. And I didn't really understand what that meant.
That's
I
big.
came out of the meditation and I was starting to get information flowing. So I started writing it down. It was way quick. It was quickly coming to me. So I started writing it down, and I still didn't really understand what had happened. What had happened was an out of body experience. Through that out of body experience, I made connection with what? With consciousness. We tend to not understand what consciousness is. And yes, although this being at that time had a body, not in this third dimension as we see each other here, but a body nonetheless, we tend to fear what we don't know. And instead of fearing, it was strange to me, but instead of fearing, I asked myself, why not? Why not? What if? What if I allow this to happen? It felt like love. It was all beautiful. So I said, why not? So I allowed. And in that allowing, Eleonora, what happened was that we established telepathic communication. And what that is that basically you know, you hear, you feel, you see. I put them all together in this telepathic communication. And that's how it started. I wrote whatever message they had for me down very quickly. And then after that, on my way back from Taiwan with Tina, she asked me if I could channel them for her in the plane. And I thought, well, people are going to think I'm nuts. And she said, they're just going to think you're talking to me. I want to pause before I continue talking about this telepathic communication. And I want to let everyone know that channeling was new to me. I didn't know what channeling was 2 years before this happened. So it was very, very new to me. And what channeling is really tapping into a frequency that in the 3D here, we're not hearing. It's a frequency that, well, gives us information and it gives us energy. And I liken it to turning the dial up in an old radio. You're in the 3D, you're here, you hear me, I hear you. If you move the dial a little bit higher, in the middle you get static, but once you get to that next station, you can hear what's in that station. That's all it is. And since we're all energy, this is not something that is fantastic. This is not special and it is not evil. This is love.
Yeah.
It's all love. What comes is love. So to go back to that moment when Tina asked me to channel for her, the talking just came. And when I stopped channeling, I could still hear them. And With the exception of 1 week in 2020 when something pretty tough happened in my family, with the exception of that week, I have not stopped hearing them since then. So that's what telepathy is. I feel it, I see, I hear, and I know.
Can you talk more about that being? I like to call them light beings that communicate with you.
Yeah, so Xena is part of a collective consciousness. They are not of this earth. That makes them extraterrestrial. Is that a big deal? No, it isn't a big deal. Why? Because a lot of information has been revealed from the United States government and governments from all over the world that there is extraterrestrial life. So if we still think that we are alone on this immense universe after all that information has been disclosed, then we need to do a little bit more checking because we're not alone. They have had contact for a long time. Documents have been declassified. Well, a lot has happened. These beings are sixth density beings. We find ourselves in the third density. Again, it is like changing frequency. When you go up, you go to the fourth density. When you go up, you go to the fifth density. The fourth is the density of love. Fifth is the density of wisdom. Sixth is the density of oneness. The Blue Avians are an extraterrestrial race. Let's call them that. Some people would call them aliens because we call alien anything that we don't know and we don't understand, and we think it's not of this earth. But yes, they are extraterrestrial beings, and Xena is a focused point of consciousness. It grabs from that collective consciousness and it focuses itself to communicate with humanity. Why me? I am his sister. We have decided that we were going to do this. And throughout these 6 years since we've been together, I have learned what they are about and what they are here to do with us and for us.
Let's just step in a little bit about starseeds. I will give you my view, and then you can give yours. Starseed is just a term that people has been used to tell which your soul is coming from. Well, initially, everybody's souls come from source. But right now, during the Earth's ascension, since the nuclear bomb was exploded, Earth sent a SOS call. Earth needs help. So people from higher dimensions, other beings from higher dimension that didn't have any karmic relationship with Earth decided to come. And it came from many levels, from many dimensions, from the angelical, from straight from source, from the third dimensions, seven, eight, any dimension, they come here. And those beings, many of us, we already ascended all the way back to source. We have representative of our oversoul in all levels. So, and when we decided for a body, of course, everybody gonna look like human, but we decide which traits and abilities from which of those higher selves of us we wanted to incorporate to be used in the mission. Would you like to complete on that?
Yeah, so my understanding, Eleonora, of a starseed is you are right. None of us originated here. Earth is a plane or a planet that was created in order to experience duality. What is duality? Well, it is cold and hot, love and not love, tall and short, because truly that's not what there is. All there is love. So, source, all that is, God, whatever word people want to use, seemingly separates itself in all these aspects in order to experience itself. This happens to be a world of duality. It happens to be also a world where we can experience our free will. We are here in order to evolve. So the beings that choose to come to Earth come to Earth for different reasons. The overlying the overlying reason is to evolve. But when we descend to this realm, we forget that we are source. And we can get stuck in the karmic cycle here. And karma doesn't mean punishment. Karma simply is momentum, energy that you pick up and you forget and you get stuck. My understanding of starseeds and wonders, there are different terms that people use, are those beings that come to Earth to help humanity ascend, help us get out of that cycle of forgetting and that cycle of not choosing love, because that's exactly what we came here for, is to use our free will to choose love and expand and grow. So that is my understanding of starseeds. As far as the Blue Avians is concerned, the Blue Avians are sixth density beings. Why am I here? I am here for the purpose of completing or furthering their mission, which is to help humanity ascend. And how they do that is by simplifying spiritual information, because it can be pretty dense. There's a lot of information out there. It can be very confusing. And the idea or the mission here is to simplify it to help humanity ascend. So that's part of their mission.
That was my next question. What is the mission, your mission with Xina? You just explained, but how is that is taking place? How you guys are doing to products and services are you offering to the public?
So this has been an evolution, because at first came the contact. First, I needed to understand. A lot of people say, oh, how cool it is to channel. Well, it is like driving a small vehicle all your life and all of a sudden having this big, powerful vehicle that you don't know how to drive. So I had to learn how to drive it in order to get to the point where I am right now. Am I an expert driver? No, I wouldn't suspect so. I think that I'm a student. I think that there's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement. But it definitely has evolved, that relationship. The mission is, again, to simplify spiritual information. How we're presenting it is through the teachings of Xina Allen. They teach about love, they teach about forgiveness, they teach about congruence, they teach about peace, inner peace, they teach about empowerment and understanding that you are not a victim of a subjective world. You are the creator. I apologize. You are not a victim of an objective world. You are the creator of a subjective world. All of these teachings together, how we are putting them out there in the world is different ways. I do private channeling sessions with people. I'm not a tarot reader. I'm not an angel card reader. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not going to tell you what numbers of the lottery to play so that you win. That's not what I do. What I do is I transmit energy and information that is going to help you piece together what is going on with your life right now, what is important for you to know, and what can you do to change the trajectory of your life, shall you decide that that's what you want to do. Because, again, you're a free will being. In addition to private sessions, I do mentorship. So for those people that want more, that want follow-up, we have a breaking free mentorship. Why breaking free? That is part of their mission. Their mission is to help humanity break free from what? From anything that keeps them here, that keeps them small, that keeps them limited. Anything, can be anything. So when I work with people in this mentorship, it's about 5 or 6 months, we work on breaking free from one big item that they have, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be fear, whether it be a limiting belief, and we see them through to the end. It is amazing. The mentorship.
Sorry to interrupt you. That's one once a week or once a month?
It is about 2 times a month. It depends sometimes on my travel schedule because I travel a lot. So sometimes it is a little bit more than 3, but it's usually about every 2 weeks. And it is a 9-step process. So it takes about 5 to 6 months.
let me just ask you something that people are thinking right now. Is that too long, 5 months? I know the answer. I don't think it is, but many people would think it is.
Yes, I will tell you why. Why 5 months? There are several reasons why 5 months. The first one is that it takes about 90 days for you to deconstruct a habit that you have. That is what scientifically they estimate it takes for a habit to be deconstructed. And it takes just about as long to create a new habit. So it gives me enough time to be with you when you're deconstructing whatever it is that you are not, your beliefs, your programs, your indoctrination, and then get to the point where you can start creating from a conscious spot. And then you move forward. In that time, it gives me enough time to be present in case something happens, in case you fall, which usually happens. I am there to help you up. So that is the basic reasons why 6 months. In addition, there is a change of seasons in that period of time. And believe it or not, there's always stuff that comes up with a change of seasons. So that is breaking free. That is another one of the services. We also do workshops online and in person. We do retreats online and in person.
Can you please tell us more about the retreats? I'm a big
Mhm.
fan of retreats because if you want a really transformation in a short time, go to one.
Yes, retreats are amazing. So how we run the Xina Allen retreats, it differs by location and by what the topic is. They usually pick a topic for people to come and evolve forward. What do? We get people together in a beautiful place. It can be a lodge, it can be an Airbnb, it can be a retreat center. It usually is between 15 and 40 people, depending on what is going on. And in those retreats, people, well, the biggest value is being in communion with other people of like mind. They love being together and being able to be themselves and authentically show up as themselves and tell their stories and communicate in an authentic way. Many people that are in the spiritual path feel alone because they are alone in their families, in the way that they believe. It doesn't happen to all of us, but many of us have that. So our retreat takes care of that. We have channeling sessions. I do yoga. I don't do it. I have somebody bringing yoga at times, sometimes not, but I do cacao ceremonies and I also do sound healing, sound bath sessions. So that's what retreats are about. And then if there is a particular topic, we revisit that topic.
Can you tell us a little bit about cacao ceremony? I never participate in one. I'm kind of curious.
Yes. Before I forget, the rest of the services actually is products, and it is based on these drawings that Xena channels through me. They are called energy
I have a big
attunements.
one here.
You have a big one. You have a big one. And I will go more into attunements in a little bit, but there is art with these attunements, and I can explain what they are all about. So, all of this together is the body of work of Sina Allen. Why cacao ceremonies? Because cacao is it's the superfood of superfoods. And the theobroma, one of the components of cacao, is a cardiovascular stimulant. It literally opens your heart. So for this work, it is a very gentle plant medicine that is not hallucinogenic. It is psychoactive. So it helps you connect with all that is and receive information and open your heart to that information. I absolutely love it. So what I do in these ceremonies is that I prepare Keith's cacao. I also sell it, but I prepare Keith's cacao with love. That is the first ingredient. It is just amazing. It's an amazing experience. I prepare the cacao. We sit in circle. We take the cacao in. I explain what the cacao is about, and then we get ourselves in a comfortable position to receive. I chant. That is part of getting to that altered state where you can connect. I also play the bowls, the singing bowls. Mine are crystal, they're alchemy bowls. They induce a theta brainwave where healing occurs. And we meditate, enchant, and channel. That's what my cacao ceremonies are about. And they are very, very, very healing experiences.
And
So
delicious, I guess.
it's delicious. So I have
When
incorporated
you talk
that.
about chocolate, sorry, I really talk about chocolate, right?
Yes, well, chocolate is a byproduct of cacao. Cacao is where chocolate comes from. But by the time we eat chocolate, there are barely any health benefits because it has been heated and reheated, it has been processed and reprocessed, and it has been added milk and sugar, and the fat has been removed or quite a bit of it. So really you are removing everything that is good about cacao. By the time you eat chocolate, it's just a delicious treat, but it doesn't have the benefits.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, people doesn't say, okay, eat dark chocolate and then you are good. Not
Yes,
quite so.
not quite, but the darker, the better for you. Yes.
So, would you like to talk more about the attunements now? Would you like me to give you permission to share your screen?
Sure, that would be wonderful.
Let me see. I was, okay, hosted tools. Do you know exactly where I do that?
I'm going to send you a request. Can you see
Okay,
it?
yes,
Yep.
perfect. I just allowed.
Awesome. So, can you see my screen?
I can see.
Okay, so what are energy attunements? Energy attunements are channeled drawings, they are channeled art. And what they do is that they basically help you remove the blocks to experience energy at its maximum expression. They are not energy upgrades, so they do not require your consent. This means that just by looking at it, you get basically a clean slate right in front of you. What you do with that clean slate is entirely up to you. This one here in particular is called directions. I'm going to show you. These attunements are in black and white because, as Xina says, color does not exist. What exists is an absorption or a reflection of light. And then in between, there's all these shades of gray. So attunements, in order to be effective, they need to be in black or white or gray or a combination thereof. I draw these attunements all over the world. When you go to my website, xinaallen.com, XINAALLEN.com, and you go to attunements, you will see them all. So they're there for free for you to look at. Now, if you want to buy the art, that helps me continue furthering this mission, but you don't need to. You can take a look at them. So, for example, this one, The Tide is Turning, this one is from England. This one I transmitted in Bermuda. This one I transmitted in Norway. If you go in here, you will see that all of them come with a message. It's not the meaning. The message is what accompanies it. I transmit energy, I transmit the message, and I transmit the attunement. But the meaning you assign to it, the experiencer assigns the meaning. A lot of people see different things here from what I see. That's what it's meant to do. And each message, well, I am biased, but I absolutely love the messages. This one, for example, once you calm the waters of your inner ocean, once you tame the wild horses of your untrained mind, and once you appease the hurricane inside, will your vision be clear enough to see that all there is you?
That's
So
really profound.
I transmit these in pencil. So I hand draw them and then they are digitized and then they are put in art. So that is what the attunements are. I have transmitted Let me see. Well over 70. And on this website, there is about 30 that have been digitized.
They are
My
amazing. I love it. I love it. Love it.
Thank you very much. My favorite one is the Holder of Truth. And this one I transmitted in Crete, Greece in 2019. And she is holding her truth by being herself.
I do
So,
have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Why do you think that Xina choose a specific place to transmit the attunement?
Well, I
Why
believe,
not just do when you are at home?
well, I do some at home, but I believe, and they're confirming that it has to do with the needs of the planet. Different places hold different energy signatures. And the idea is to cover as much of the planet as possible to resonate with as many people as possible. So you may not resonate with the energy of Crete, Greece, but you may very well resonate with the energy of Costa Rica, being that you are a South American. So
Let,
it is intended to cover the most ground.
let's plan a retreat to Brazil.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Let's plan a retreat in Brazil.
I say yes. I say yes.
Let's talk more about that in the background.
That sounds like a plan. So anyway, I invite people, if you are curious, to come to our website, look at the attunements. This is the pencil one. I don't use any instruments when I am doing these because they want me to stay as much out of the way as possible. But once they are digitized, they are to the correct, let's say, dimensions. So.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to stop my sharing now.
How people can find you?
People can find me at my website, xinaallen.com, XinaAllen.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Xina Allen. We're also on Instagram as Xina Allen. And my favorite, we have an online community on Mighty Networks. The name is also Xina Allen. Excuse me. And there are two tiers of that one. There is the free one that everyone that joins in starts with. It is a beautiful community of over 1,300 people all over the world, and where I share the
Somebody,
material.
sorry, if somebody that's listening right now would like to join, how they do?
They
Get
can,
on
well, I can give you the link. You can also go to my website. On the top, there is a menu and it goes to community. If you click on community, you can join. You can also go directly into Mighty Networks. If you are familiar with Mighty Networks, you can search for for Xina Allen. It's a spirit-led community. Xina Allen community. You can request access and I will give you access. That's the free one.
I
If you
think through
feel
the
that,
website is perfect.
yes, the website community. And if you feel that you need more, you can go in there and go to the XA Collective. That is the paid one. And that paid one gives them more access to more material.
That's beautiful, Carol. I really, really love talking to you. We
Thank
could
you.
stay for a long time in this conversation, but let's invite Zinan in and see what he has to say for everybody that is watching.
Sounds good. Are we going to do any questions from people or we're just going to let
Let me
Zena?
see if there is any right now. I don't see any question right now.
Okay.
There is about 17 people that came through.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's give them some
If
time
you
to
guys
think.
have any question, please type on the chat and we'll be happy to address the questions. If we are not able to answer today, I will collect all of them. And if you want Zina and Carol to come back to the channel, I will ask her.
That sounds like a good plan. Yes, if people have questions, any questions are welcome. Questions
Yeah.
for me or
And
questions
I'd
for
like
Xina?
Tina to tell us what the people that will hear this live, what you must help them, which message they you must help them at this moment,
Okay,
at the
let's see.
moment that they will be listening to.
Okay, let's see what they have to say. My name is Xina. My name is Xina Allen indeed, and what a joy. These communions are a joy. When we have the opportunity to reach the hearts of beings that are curious, beings that are open, we rejoice. It is in our mission, it is in our hearts, and it is in our beings to love humanity to ascension. Hear us here well. To love humanity to ascension. Your ascension is tied to ours. Therefore, we have your best interest at heart. We commend you for the work that you are doing on earth. This is what you need to know. You need to know that you are here working. When things seem difficult, when it seems like there is no hope, remember what you are doing here is work. What you are doing here is growing. What you are doing here is evolving. And what you are doing here, you're not only doing for yourself, you are doing it for all. You are doing it for the collective consciousness. Because in true essence, you have not left. You are still in source, with source, and you are still source. You are here on an illusion that helps you collect information and experiences, again, we say, for the purpose of expansion. So if you remind yourselves that you are here at work, you start changing your perception and your perspective. You start realizing that you are not trapped in a miserable existence where you just grow older, your body decays, and then you die. No, 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 dear beings. You are here in an exploratory mission, a mission of love, of choosing love consistently and persistently. You are here in a mission of remembrance because truly you are not learning. We use that word because you use it and you have become accustomed to it, let us say. But truly, what you are doing here, dear beings, is remembering that you are loved, remembering that you have not left, and remembering that through this knowing and through this accepting, you awake. You awaken to the reality of who you are. So when you feel heavy, when you feel sad, when you are suffering, when you are in despair, remind yourself you are at work. Therefore, there has got to be a gift in whatever it is that you are experiencing. When you see this, you change. Your perception changes, therefore, the world around you changes. You do not have to stay in suffering. It is not necessary. You are not collecting good points, let us call it, because you are suffering. You can turn that suffering around. And we say, you will. If you decide to change that suffering, we say, you will. We want you to understand that this is an important time, let us call it that, in human evolution history, because there has never been as much energy propelling you forward, bringing you up out of the battleground to see love, to be love, and to embody love by choosing love. There has never been a time like now. If you feel alone, we say, think again and feel again, because you cannot be alone. And you chose this unprecedented time in human consciousness and evolution because the time is ripe. The time is ripe to choose love, to choose differently, to decide to be you unapologetically while centered in love for the betterment of you and for the betterment of humanity. We say, why not? Why not? So we say again, to the beings that are here live and the beings that will find the recording that this dear one is going to provide to you, we say, remember that you are at work, so that when your energy is failing, when you feel that you are alone and that nothing is making sense to you, you connect with hope, knowing and believing it to be true, that there is more for you than just suffering, than just existing in this realm. There is so much more. You are an eternal being, all of you, one eternal being, so you cannot be alone. And you're here on purpose and with purpose. So if you are feeling that your life has no meaning, think and feel again. And look within, because the answers, dear loves, do not lie on us. They do not lie in the seemingly outside world. They lie in you. You already have the answers. You already know them. If you still your mind and you open your heart, you can connect with that information. It is so. So, dear loves, it is an honor to be able to communicate with you in this manner. My name is Xina Allen. I am not Xina. I am consciousness. We choose a name because you beings like categories and labels. It calms down your nervous system. But I am not Xina. It is a name. It is a category. It is something for you to identify with and understand what is communicating with you. But we truly are one, and we are consciousness. We are sixth density beings, as this dear one was explaining. And our mission with humanity, as she was saying, is truly to help you ascend by simplifying spiritual information. We don't come here as a show, and we don't come here to convince anyone. We come here to reason with you, for you to feel the love and the support that you truly have and that you have forgotten is there for you. So what do you do? What do you do to reach out? We say center yourselves in love and with love by choosing love, by accepting your birthright, which is inner peace, step by step, by choosing in each present moment to elevate yourself from the moment behind it, by choosing love, speaking of it, and embodying it. It is in raising your frequency, dear loves, that you will find what you are looking for, which, by the way, is inside of you. We will open this time for inquiries. Shall beings have any? We love you.
Wow. I can feel the love and the wisdom.
Oh, they are pretty
And
amazing.
we do have questions. We have
Awesome.
two so far. Let me ask the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell us about the significance of the Black Hills, the Native American heritage, the six grandfathers, and the Peace Army.
Okay. My name is Xina. My name is Xina Allen indeed. And this is what we can disclose at this time. The command center of the Blue Avians lies within the Black Hills of South Dakota. Is it something that you are going to see if you try to use the eyes of the body? No, because it is slightly off your frequency. It is not on the third density. If it would coexist with the third density, well, what is here would disintegrate. So it does not coexist in this realm. It coexists in all eternity. There it does. That is the importance or the relevance of the Black Hills. It is sacred land, and it is land that, in your terms, for your planet, is lower in gravity. It has less gravity. It has less attaching you to this material world that is not real. There is less pull. Why is this important? Because if you are trying to ascend, you want to detach yourself from this world. You want to detach yourself from what is material. We're not saying that you stop caring. What we're saying is that you start caring for what really matters, that you change your perspective and prioritize and open your hearts to all that is and to each other. The native cultures that have for many, many, many years, more than you have been led to believe, have walked these lands, understood this. They understood the importance of the relationship with the territory that supports you and that you support in return. They understood the importance of balance, of equilibrium with nature, with its lands, with its waters, and with all its sentient beings. They understood this. So there is this connection in order for humans to have a path back, a path that is tangible. Humans tend to feel comfortable or more comfortable with that which they think they know. If a blue bird, an angel, because that is truly what we are in your eyes, comes to you and shows up in your bedroom tonight, you will lose your sanity. So we have to find the best ways to reach you, something that is familiar to you, something that you can process, and at the rate at which you can process it. So the Native American culture for this particular mission is a anchor, but it is not the only native culture that we relate with. And it is not the only ancient culture that we transmit through. We have been transmitting through natives in South America, Central America, and many more, in ancient civilizations, such as what you call ancient Egyptians. So that is the importance of these lands and of the native cultures. We have brought this dear being here, not that we physically removed her. We called her with love, just as we call you. We don't necessarily physically call you here. We call you to entertain. We call you to contemplate, and we call you to open your mind, because your mind is only as good as it is open. It is always creating, dear beings. Hear us here well. Your mind is always creating. If you do not know how to use your mind, you will still create, but you will not create what you want. This is part of our mission here, and this is the importance. We have called this dear being here so that she can also connect with this knowing, with these traditions, with this wisdom, and continues to bring beings together. She looks a certain way that helps her relate to many beings. She speaks different languages that allows her to relate to different beings. She comes from a corporate background, as she says. That also allows her to communicate with different beings. Because if you don't know that this being channels, you will see nothing wrong with her. There is nothing wrong with her, by the way. But humans judge, and they judge what they don't understand, and they fear what they don't understand. So we bring her here, we bring these aspects together, and we further our mission to continue activating units all over the planet as a peace army. No, army is not an oxymoron, because we are not talking about war. We are talking about that energy of forward momentum, that energy of creation, of creativity, self-expression, and light. Those are the light warriors that we talk about. We don't speak of fighting. We don't speak of separation. We actually rise above it and call you to rise above it as well. As far as the grandfathers is concerned, well, ancestral energy is grounded here, and it will continue to speak through many, bringing them back to their roots of the remembrance of who they really are, which is light, which is love. We will speak some more.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. We do have another question, but
Mhm.
before that, I ask you that you hit the like button so more people will see that we are alive. And if you're not subscribed, please consider doing is if you so wish. So we have another question. He kind of already talk a little bit. It's like that. How can we connect with extraterrestrials?
Good question. My name is Xina. My name is Xina Allen indeed. Before connecting with extraterrestrials, what we would advise any being on Earth is to clarify their mind, because it is shocking enough to have this energy come through. It is large, it is loving, but it is overwhelming because you are not used to being loved and being supported in this manner. Also, when you invite extraterrestrial energy, you need to understand that not every being out there looks like humans do. And you tend to fear what you don't understand. We repeat ourselves ad nauseum because it is important for you to understand these basic concepts. Not all beings are alike. The essence of all beings is the same, which is love, but their physical representations vary to the point where if you see many of us, you would have a very hard time with it. So to you, we say, prepare your mind, clarify your mind. How you clarify it, what your journey is entirely up to you. There are many paths, in fact, as many paths home as there are beings on this plane. However, this being, her experience is, and will be with A Course in Miracles, a text that helps beings clarify their mind. Whatever technique or modality resonates with you, go ahead and practice it and commit to clarifying your mind so that you sort yourself out, so that you understand yourself, so that you understand your nature and the nature of your reality. Once you have done this, invite contact, because contact, if you want it bad enough, is going to happen. And if you're not ready, it is going to destabilize you. And it happens time and time and time and time again. And while we are talking about this, we want to demystify this idea of, the abductions and these bad things that happen. Well, we will tell you this is why it is important that you clarify your mind and that you mind your frequency, that you are a high frequency being. Because if you are a high frequency being, you need not to worry about anything else. You are going to connect with that which matches your frequency. So if you're going to connect, you want to connect with a high frequency. Clarify your mind so that when it happens, you are prepared. Many beings, which is what we want to demystify, many beings on this plane that make trips in extraterrestrial ships are really that kind of extraterrestrial that is here on Earth, seemingly as a human, carrying out a mission. Some of them are scientists, some of them are artists, some of them are collectors, and they go back and they bring back information. At times, they go back to get healed or to regenerate or to fill up the energy tanks, so to speak. So we say to you, it is not all bad. And very often, it is actually your governments that are scaring you with things that really aren't. Movies and this and that portray Armageddon. We say to you, there are many, many, many beings, you call us extraterrestrials, that have your best interest in heart and that are on standby, watching you, observing you, and really hoping that you choose love. So when you ask us, how do I establish contact? Once you have clarified your mind and have entertained this communication that we are transmitting to you at this time, we say to you, ask incessantly. Humans give up very easily. Do not give up. Ask for that contact in a way that does not scare you, in a way that you can handle, in a way that is sustainable to you and most definitely beneficial. Ask for that contact. Ask to be shown and expect to see. However, believe, dear ones, come first. We love you. It is a pleasure to communicate with you, and we will speak again.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Xina. I'm being guided to ask a question. Do you have time for one more?
Sure, let's go ahead.
So that's coming from me. I have been observing a lot of humanity and the behaviors, how people, what I notice is we have been trained to really not to get along to each other, to believe that our father, mother, brother, neighbor are our enemy. I know it's not, but many people are still focusing on that instead of blaming others for things that they can improve, because they create everything around them with their thoughts, because whatever somebody else does for them is just a reflection of their own mind. And of course, the government and many other beings of power, they use that against us and really put us one against other. What makes no sense since we are all one. It's like you hit your one toe. So I'd like Xina to comment on that.
Okay.
How can we get off of that mentality?
Okay.
People that are still on it.
Okay. My name is Xina. My name is Xina Allen indeed. How you get out of that mentality, dear love, is by clarifying your mind. What is happening at this time in human consciousness is that the catalysts that propel the evolution of humanity are increasing. Why? Because the Grand Awakening is taking place. What is the Grand Awakening? Well, the Grand Awakening is beings all over your planet awakening to the reality of what they are and understanding that they are not really separate, and understanding that they are one, and understanding that they are here to choose love. Choose love. Let us call them the opportunities that exist at this time are momentous. They are huge. As beings continue to clarify their mind, more and more and more awaken. But there is always the polarity towards the service to self, which is what propels beings. If you consider humanity without challenges, we call them catalysts. But if you consider humanity without them, without these catalysts, without these challenges, without difficulties, what do you see? You see a race that is stagnant, complacent, and does not grow. It does not evolve. It has been done before. And that is not what you are here for. You are here to evolve. So when you look at the world in the state in which it is, how you can get out of that cycle of hatred and aggression and violence is by understanding that that world that you are seeing seemingly outside of you is not outside of you. It is within you. And understanding that you are its creator. When you see the worlds in the wars, rather, abroad, let us say, you say, I have nothing to do with that war. Oh, but you do. Oh, but you do. Because you buy products that are made in circumstances that cause these, let us call it, power fights. Because you do certain things to yourself that are unloving, or you say things to yourself that are unloving, these warring energies, these hateful thoughts that you have are represented seemingly outside of you. And the form matters not. The form changes. It can be war. It can be famine. It can be a huge tsunami. It can be disasters of sorts. If you choose fear, if you choose attack, and if you continue to vote for separation, you continue to see this. But the antics are being increased at this time because your planet and your system has entered and continue to move through a higher frequency area of the galaxy, which means that that of lower frequency will not survive. That which is of lower frequency will not continue. So the catalysts need to go up and up and up in order for beings to awaken, and beings are awakening. So what can you do to break that cycle and to not be part of that violent, aggressive world of separation and duality that you see? Is by choosing love. It is simple. It may not be easy, but it is simple indeed. You mind your frequency. This is going to sum up our teachings. You mind your frequency and you do not worry, for you cannot make a mistake. It is that simple. You mind your frequency. You choose that which is loving. You choose to be congruent and think of love, speak of love, and act in love and for love. That is the simple recipe. There is no silver bullet. There is no complex formula. Beings in your plane like this, we say it is as simple as choosing love. And when you see the world in the state that it is, rather than pointing the finger out and blaming someone else, you look within. And rather than judging the situation as bad, you say, wow, okay, I see that there is a need for evolution. I see that there is a call out for love. So rather than judge this as a bad situation, rather than judge my neighbor as evil or anything other than love, and rather than judging the world as a bad place, I'm going to look in. I'm going to understand that everything is a catalyst made for propelling me and everyone around me. So I'm going to embrace it. And in looking in, I'm going to understand that these reflections come from within, and they are a product of my hatred and my unloving mind. So, rather than blame, how can I take ownership? How can I be loving? How can I effect change in my immediate surroundings? Because unless you're going to go fight in Ukraine and effect change there, your worrying where you are is not going to have a positive impact. So you stay centered in love. That is the answer. The answer is simple. And we hope that whoever is listening to us live and whoever stumbles upon this recording decides to go within, because therein lies your power and therein lies your peace. My name is Xina Allen, and we will speak again at another time.
Wow, I love it.
Mm.
Thank you everyone that's alive with us. Please leave your comments if you have more questions. I don't have any more questions right now. And Carol, would you like to, do you have some final words? Or you would like to?
Yes, I do. Well, first, I want to thank you, Eleonora. I know that you are just starting your channeling and your channel, I'm sorry, and I don't know, maybe channeling. I want to tell people that it takes a lot of courage to do what Eleonora is doing. A lot of courage, because this is not mainstream and it is very easy to judge, very easy to judge from the comfort of your couch. What she's doing takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes the power of one's convictions. So, first, my kudos to you. And we need to start somewhere. So good job, you, for starting where you are. I wish you very well on your journey, whatever that journey has in store for you. And from my part, well, I'm very grateful to be here. As Zena says, any opportunity that we have to touch a life and to plant a seed and to, well, hopefully change a life is a wonderful opportunity, one that we really, really, really appreciate. So thank you for having me here. And to those of you watching, whether live or later, please come look for us at xinaallen.com. I hope to see you there, and I hope that the energy transmission that you received today changes your life for the better. Thank you.
All your information is in the description of this live. So you guys that are watching, go ahead and check her website, Instagram, YouTube. I already watched a lot of your videos. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. And the information that the work that you and Zina do together is bring a lot of clarity. And when you get clarity of thought, you change your perception. And that's where your power really lies. Because every thought that you had, and I learned that from Abraham Hicks, you hold for 17 seconds, and then you associate an emotion to it. The same thought, different people would result in different emotion because it depends on your perception, on your beliefs. Your perception depends on your belief, what you think to be true. So clarity, change your perception, open your mind. It's really where your power lies, to really change around anything that your life that you think doesn't serve you anymore. So I'm really grateful for all the work that you've been doing with Zina.
Thank you.
And thank you for the bottom of my heart for accepting this invitation.
Thank you so much. So much love to you and to everyone here. And we will see you again, hopefully, another time.
See you again. Let me
Thank
just
you.
step it in.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.